Hello and welcome to the Crazy Angels Music Podcast. I'm joined by Pascal Dennis and David Logan. Hi guys.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
Today we want to continue to talk about album 3, Shame on the Sun. And we want to start with the song Singapore Serenade, which is about the many cities Pascal wrote the song about. So could you introduce us to why you wrote this song, Pascal?
In my day job, I've traveled a lot, which it's hard on you and it's hard on the family, but the benefit is you see these magnificent places and cultures and make friends with people that otherwise you might never meet. And the magic and the mystery and the romance of great cities stays with you. So a place like Singapore has an exoticism, a scent, a taste, a presence it's really overwhelming, and you feel the history and romance of the Malay Peninsula and all the remarkable people that lived there and left their touch on the stones and on the streets and on the Peranakan houses. You know, those are houses that have a shop on the main floor, and then the family would live above, and they're very colorful and very spicy and exotic. And most people, I think, have seen the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and that's their image of Singapore. And that's true. That is a part of Singapore. And I was lucky enough to see other parts of it as well that are just as interesting and spicy. And in particular, spent time with the expat community there. So there are people from all over the world that go to Singapore because it's such a hub of innovation and opportunity, and everyone is young and full of energy and optimism. Very different from the cities of the West. They're lonely, they're alienated to a great degree. They're in a little bit of shock because it's so different, so spicy and so exotic. It's like going to a different planet. And they have these intense relationships, and there's a romance about them, a world weariness. They often carry heartache. There's betrayal and all the range of human emotions. So I got to know these people, and they really affected me. Their stories really affected me. So the Singapore Serenade is one of those stories. I've written a number of songs about Singapore, and it's about a doomed love affair. And David and the band captures that sense of mystery, exoticism. You can almost taste the cinnamon, the ginger, the laxa leaf, and feel the oncoming rain, and yet all the blossoms, and the mystery and the magic of the Malay Peninsula. So it's one of the great cities in the world, and the stories are overwhelming. And I'll pass the baton to David, how the band captured that feeling, world weariness, of heartache, betrayal, alienation, loneliness. How'd you do it, David?
Yeah, first of all, let's just have ourselves a listen. So here we go.
Well, I think I'll go down to Boon Tat Street. I'll get me some kaya.
Sorry to interject. I can't hear a lot of it. How about you?
It's
2, 1, and we're back from the blooper part, which we may or may not edit in. And here I am to talk about the music after the big jump cut. All right, so we had some little tech problems, but yeah, let's listen for a little bit, and then I'll talk a little bit.
Well, I think I'll go down to Boon Tat Street. I'll get me some kaya and jasmine tea. You know how I love old bakeries. Have my breakfast underneath the old trumpet tree. The air is heavy, there's rain coming soon. Last night at Duxton, I howled at the moon. Nutmeg, ginger, and laxa leaf. A new ring on your finger, it's sure given me grief. You're leaving for London with your hedge fund tout. You say I still love you. What is that all about? How can you live in parallels? And how could I miss the warning bells? My feelings remain retrograde.
And I have my nice, lovely fade. Did you guys notice the fade?
That was clean, man.
Okay, that's a clean fade. All right.
That was beauty, man.
Okay, so as far as the arrangement goes, this is not a complicated arrangement. This is just mostly the bedrock of Davide and Luca. So, of course, you know, Davide, as always, just laying down his lovely piano styles. Just the first chord is just like beautiful. And again, it's Pascal's writing that is allowing for this, you know, like Pascal's writing is the infrastructure, right? And then I guess I'm the foreman, and then everybody in the band are the construction workers. So Pascal, it's a good analogy, right? Pascal's the blueprint, right?
Yeah, and then everybody wears their safety glasses, by the way.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I'm the foreman, but I'm also a construction worker because often I'm doing bass and drums and other string arrangements and stuff. So
Man at work.
you know, exactly. You know, and well, that's people kind. We're Canadian, remember. We're not allowed to say men at work. We just say people at work, right? You know, come on, man, get with it. All right, so that's a little dark sarcasm there directed toward our prime minister. So, but avoiding politics and all. You know, actually, you should probably cut that part out. Anyway, and then we have the lovely, lovely lines of Luca. You know, just a subtle little bass part in there, all understated. Again, this is all from the blueprint, right? So we're just, you know, just they're doing their job. I suppose I am too. So, piano comes in here, and they're talking, they're communicating through, you know, Pascal's voice, of course.
Rain coming soon. Last night at Duxton,
light drums.
I howled at the moon. Nutmeg.
And that's it. But you know, well, here, let's just quickly, because Pascal loves strings, so we should solo the string lines, I suppose.
Oh, man.
Always with the dynamics. Always building using the dynamics. So anyway, what I was going to say is that, you know, when you're, for any, you know, young producers that might be listening or arrangers, like, it doesn't have to be full of stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated. Literally, like, it's just the band playing and okay, yep, that'll work. Just let them do their thing. It doesn't need to be complicated. The string parts are also not complicated. What makes them, I suppose, nice is those dynamics, right? And I think that's like, you know, when you see sometimes YouTube videos of, like, you know, beginner, you know, pro, boss, you know, I suppose sort of like the boss level is thinking about the dynamics and the contour. Contour is a word I use a lot. And of course, Pascal's voice, you know, is a beautiful instrument, and I think we often overlook that on our podcast. And I do remind everybody from, you know, time to time, because it's true. He's got a lovely, lovely, you know, baritone voice, and super simple. You know, like, I think this idea goes to something Pascal was discussing in earlier podcasts and often talks about is, the Chinese poetry, and just the idea of simplicity in all of its, bare beauty in a way, and the fact that you can literally string, a series of 5 words together, and all of a sudden you've got this entire beautifully put together painting in front of you just from a few words, right? I think that it's the same thing in arranging. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? Always, first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about fight. No, I'm kidding. The first rule of working as a producer with an artist and with session players, like great session players like the ones we have, always respect them. Never insert your authority unless it's 100% necessary, unless something just doesn't work. Otherwise, let everybody be. Pascal will always send me 2 vocal takes, mostly, sometimes 3, but mostly 2. And then sometimes the instructions are pick and choose, because we can do that, right? Yeah. But sometimes he'll put an asterisk, on take 2, right? And I respect that. I don't go and, I'll just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
The only time I'll go to take 1 is if something on take 2 just doesn't work. And often I'll just discuss it with him first and just be like, hey, you know what? That second chorus, I just feel is stronger on take 1. So always respect the artist, always respect your players, and I've said this before on the podcast, but it's really one of my favorite Steve Jobs quotes, which is, at Apple, we don't hire smart people and then tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. It's just brilliant, no? But that's what built Apple. He found the smartest people in the world and listened. And that's what I do as a producer. I listen to Pascal, I listen to the songs, and then I hear what the band does, and I listen.